porfa cabrón, soy un Sancho King. Así que dale, y despacito, porque lo mueve, pero muy rico. Así que dale, y despacito, porque lo mueve, pero bonito.
¿Qué onda, mi gente? Welcome to Sancho Fantasy Football again. Familia, this is week 6 waiver wire pickups. If you guys know and have followed me, I don't waste them. I save my priority. I don't really deal with fab, but save it on a lot of these players. The only ones that I'm willing to pick up are those league-winning type of players. For example, Alexander Madison. Check if he's on your waiver wires. Pick him up. Dalvin Cook hasn't been healthy. And track record shows he may be out of the lineup again. It's very possible. So I like to start off with running backs. Now, running backs, I don't really like the ones that are here for this week. However, we are all dealing with injuries, or most of us, to an extent. So I know some of us are really in dire need of help at running backs. If I had to choose in order of the ones that are coming in, I would suggest, okay, so I guess it's a toss-up. You can, depending on how you look at it, depending on how your team structure is. So number one would be Damian Williams. I don't like it. Here's why. It's going to be in a committee type running back situation. So yes, he might be the quote-unquote starter and might get a couple more touches here in comparison to the other ones. And he's also getting catch passing. That he has a catch passing ability. So keep that in mind. Don't go into it thinking like this is a league winner. It's not. He's Damian Williams is decent, but he's not like he's gonna take you to the promised land type of player. But we need help. Go ahead, sure. Secondly, Devin Booker. Devin Booker is the one I prefer only because he's gonna get all the workload. Based on this past weekend, he was getting all the touches. So that's no problem. He's obviously not as talented as Barkley, but he's gonna get the job done. And that's what you want. Somebody's gonna be solid, safe, and reliable, right? And he's for what it is in his situation for the team, he's solid. The bad thing is you might only get him for 2 weeks. Again, emergency, sure, go ahead, but keep him or trade him to somehow throw it in a trade. A trade with the Barkley owner. That's what I'm thinking about doing for the Madison situation. I have one league where I purposely drafted running back heavy, but it also reflects on my wide receiver depth, which is none. Actually, I should make a video on that. So I plan on making a video to show you guys, a few of my teams, which I'm doing decently right now. That's another story. And thirdly, I like, if I had to pick up somebody, it would be Alex Collins. Now, Alex is basically the handcuff as of right now for Carson. See, Carson is dealing with an injury, neck injury. I think they call it a neck. I think it's a neck contusion. And obviously, common sense says neck injuries are very, very risky. So that means, and I know Carson. I know I was, decently high on him based on where he was going, and but I also knew the risk behind him, that he's injury prone. So based on that, especially if you're a Carson owner, please tell me you already have him. Carson may miss more frequently than you would think. So Alex Collins, I'm not saying he's like the best game league winning type of running back out there. He's not. He's like a level, 2 levels, 3 levels down from the Madisons of the world, the Pollards of the world. So with that being said, he's a solid third, like a flex type of running back. See, I like my teams to have two RBs and the RB as my flex as well. So he's that type of player. Or just in an emergency, with these injuries, you just have him. You can have him as depth on your bench, which is cool. My other recommendations are like two tiers down more. Like they're not worth a pickup, to in my opinion. But I'm gonna mention them just in case you guys may be more hurt than I am in some of these leagues. So okay, no, actually, let me take that back a little bit. Please make sure you have your handcuffs. Grab them. Players are falling out just on injuries this year like crazy. So please keep that in mind. The other guys you can take a swing on, but again, they're not even on. They're my red level tier, so they're not even startable, on my opinion. You can start off with Samaje Perine, another handcuff, again, but he was. It's not a flashy pick or anything like that. But I know Mixon is hurt, and he may be missing more time eventually. Khalil Herbert, he he seemed okay. He got the touches, which is the volume, right? That's what we're looking for. But he's not explosive, guys. Well, let's give it a time, right? Maybe just pick him up and leave him on your bench. Again, but he's temporarily because Montgomery's coming back. Another guy, the Patriots, just stay away from them. 100%. Just stay away. As well as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers backfield, stay away. The Ravens backfield, stay away. It's just those backfields I avoid at all costs. The Colts as well, they're not reliable. Jonathan Taylor, and that's it. All right, let's see what else. Who else is out there? Just make sure there's somebody drops a good player, pick him up. In your opinion, if you think he's good, pick him up. Okay, wide receivers. The only guy I'd be willing to put somewhat of a waste fab or my priority list if I'm in the back end is I forget his first name, Tony from the Giants, the wide receiver. This kid is very talented. If you haven't watched the game or you haven't watched the highlights, please watch it and you'll see what I mean. This kid has that like X factor. He definitely is going to be something special. The downfall might be that Sterling Shepard comes back and all these other guys that are not good, and then they take some targets. But this kid is amazing. I believe I saw a stat that he leads the league at yards after the catch. He only really played this past 2 weeks because the other guys were hurt. But he's talented. He's making people miss. He's getting space in between them. So he is very talented. I would definitely do that. And then the tier down or two, if you want to take a shot at Jamison Crowder, but he's going to be a up and down. Trust me, I have him. Again, I mentioned that I was in a league. He's my actually wide receiver 2 right now. Long story. I'm going to share it. It's like my up and downs, but it's all right. I'm 3-2. And I believe I'm 6 on that league out of 12. So not too bad. Tim Patrick, if he's out there, not a sexy pick, not a flashy pick, but a solid 10 points type of player. He's actually doing better than Beasley. Beasley, I'm dropping him. He's not. I can't trust him. But Tim Patrick, I can. Tim Patrick, I feel comfortable putting him as like solid 10 points. Wide receiver 2. That's all I want. There also is Marquez Callaway. Marquez Callaway is very talented as well, but I just don't trust that offense. Just such a crappy offense. And then with Michael Thomas coming back soon, it's not a good look. I don't like it. But if you need an emergency pickup, he's one guy I take a shot at this week. Another one, and see, like, this Arizona Cardinals offense is great, but you can't rely on any of these receivers. Not even Hopkins right now. Like, no, thank you. I guess in an emergency, please take a look at Rondell Moore. He seems to be that guy that with the hot hand right now. The other week might be Christian Kirk, and the other one might be AJ Green. But if I had to choose one, it would be Rondell Moore for this week. I'm sorry, guys. I don't give my approval stamp on these guys, but sometimes we're all struggling, so it's just unfortunate, but it is what it is. This is part of fantasy. Again, I'm the type of person who will struggle at wide receiver, quote unquote, because I go running back heavy typically. Okay, so let's start off there. Stay away from the Kansas City backfield or wide receiver core. It's only Tyreek Hill. That's it. Also keep an eye out for Bateman if he's available. Just to give, if you want to give him a shot and just put him on your bench, see how he does for his first game, 2 games. You never know, he might go off, and then you'd have somebody you can possibly rely on weekly. But typically, I stay away from the Baltimore Ravens. They're not a real passing team, except this past week. You guys missed that game. It was crazy. I needed Andrews for 16 points, and that was crazy. I ended up winning. If you want to take another risk, Michael Gallup, even though those wide receivers now aren't doing too well in Dallas, just I'm a name to keep an eye on. Another guy, and I'm not too fond of right now. Maybe in the future, he's gonna start building up, and my confidence level is Amon-Ra St. Brown from Detroit. Now this kid, he's obviously talented, but it's just that offense. I can't trust it. In an emergency, like I had, like if I'm looking through my waiver pickup or waiver wire and he's there, and I might end up doing it, but not even. It should not be going that low. Let's take another look here. Tight ends. Please make sure Schultz is not in the waiver wire. Please make sure that Knox, if for some reason he's there, pick him up. Gesicki, don't be expecting a lot from him, but if he's there, sure. I had to pick him up because Logan Thomas is out. And then let me take a look here. Hunter Henry seems to be doing okay, decently. So if you need an emergency pickup, he's there. Zach Ertz. If I'm not mistaken, Goddard is in COVID protocol. So Zach Ertz is going to be okay. Maybe an emergency high flyer, type of deal. Dan Arnold did this did decently this week, and they actually seem to be using him. So if you're looking for a solid 8 points, go for it. Obviously, some of us didn't do good tight end pickups, so go ahead. He gets my okay stamp. And then I know David and Jonku just went off this week, but no, thank you. If you want to shoot your foot, go ahead and pick him up. But he's the type of player who's gonna get you 0 points or 1 catch. But most likely than not. So yeah, don't. Besides that, I don't really would recommend anybody else. Let's see, what else? Quarterbacks are a crapshoot right now as well. I know I don't draft quarterbacks for the most part. And the best one right now that is looking, and this is no joke, which I mentioned it on my draft video, on how to draft video, just before the season even started. And I wouldn't do it this week. Just wait till wait till next week. But don't waste a waiver priority or anything like that on Matt Ryan. I'm telling you guys, even though he's looked like crap his first few weeks, he's solid. He's been getting you points. Look at his track record so far. He's last couple games he's been solid, 20 points plus. And I'm over here picking up Daniel Jones. He got me 16 one week. The 1 week I pick him up, that's my one weakness. I always pick up a player who's been solid, and I put him in my roster, and then they just crap the bed. This week it was what was it, Sam Darnold, and I was hesitating. I was just gonna keep Tannehill, and he ended up getting 13 points. He would have been doing way better. Please keep an eye. My recommendations with quarterbacks, if they're giving you about 17 or up, pick them up on a constant weekly basis. And then, really, guys, that was about it. I just wanted to make it short. So just to recap really quick, I would only... Oh, and Taylor Heineke. Heineke actually seems to be doing decent for what it is. I'm actually considering it in one league just for this week and see how it goes. But yeah, the only players that I'd really recommend to lose a waiver priority on or use fab on is Kadarius Toney, Devin Booker, and Damian Williams is probably my last suggestion. And your handcuffs. That's it. Everybody else, just wait and see who's left, or if anybody dropped off on another good player. With that being said, peace. Hasta la próxima.
Certified cabrón, soy un Sancho King. Así que da.